Hi there. Looks like I have a little fan on my head. I know. This is John McKinney, and I am reflecting on the reading of Wright, N.T. Wright, and Gabe Lyons on what we find confusing, inspiring, or challenging this week, and if any of our assumptions have been challenged. Some reflections on The Next Christians by Gabe Lyons. I think his notion of restorers and restoring is extremely inspiring. And I think considering that creation, the ought to be, and the restoration that can be, he makes often says that we are leaving out those two things to mostly overemphasize the fall and redemption. Is this largely true? I don't know about in every church, in every movement. I think he almost overemphasizes it and say that we only have half a story, and this abridged version of the gospel. I think a church or a movement that considers the whole of Scripture, whether it's topical or expository teaching, does a pretty decent job of including all of these things. But what's the emphasis? Yes, fall and redemption. So he does have a point. Another key question, I think, is God going to scrap the whole world and throw it out, start anew? Or is he going to use what he has already created and as raw material to redeem and restore it to as it was meant to be? I think this is kind of a theological debate. Essentially, Gabe is saying, and I think N.T. Wright and others are saying that he is going to do the latter. He's going to use us, and he's going to bring his kingdom come here on earth to do these things. And that starts now. So the book written by N.T. Wright, Surprised by Hope, certainly inspiring and a little more heady for sure. I appreciate this idea of the myth of progress that he talks about. This is often spun by politicians. So many movies and so many ideas of technology are woven into this idea that we can somehow, with our innovation, technology, our human spirit, can create this utopia that really is non-existent without the reality of the gospel, because it leaves out the fact that we cannot deal, technology and all the rest cannot deal with evil. And it leaves out the part where no progress can atone for sin, right? So on page 96, he says, redemption doesn't mean scrapping what's there and starting again from a clean slate, but rather liberating what has come to be enslaved. And that kind of answers the question above that I mentioned from Lyons. He's going to use us and the raw materials, the imperfect people that he created who are redeemed, to do the restoration. Finally, both referenced by N.T. Wright and Crosby in her article, The Kingdom Story, Colossians 1, just a couple selections from verses 13 through 20. For he, Christ, has rescued us from the dominion of darkness and brought us into the kingdom of the Son that he loves, in whom we have redemption. The Son is the image of the invisible God, for in him all things were created, things in heaven and on earth, invisible and visible. He is before all things, and in him all things hold together. For God was pleased to have all of his fullness dwell in him, Christ, and through him reconcile all things to himself, whether things on earth or things in heaven, by making peace through his blood shed on the cross. Really sums up what we've been talking about, and has given me a new perspective from the reading and the writing that we've done, and these verses, really putting them together, and what this whole thing is all about. So thanks so much.